Thank you so much, everybody. So my name's Belinda Grace, as you can't help but to notice by this huge thing that I've got here next to me. We've got a stand at the big Mind Body Spirit Festival this weekend at Alexandra Palace, so that's really what this is for. But we thought, hey, might as well bring it along for a bit of fun and give it a bit of use. As Sia said, we're from Australia, and I've been published in Australia for about 15 years now, but I'm travelling the world, UK, Europe and Australia, giving talks and workshops and running courses and signing books and doing readings and all of that kind of thing. So it really is a dream life. But I didn't wake up when I was a little child and go, oh, hey, wow, I'm clairvoyant, I can see things. In fact, I was quite the opposite. And it took me until I was about 30 to even start to get an inkling of any idea that I might be clairvoyant or intuitive or be able to see and hear information. It's a bit of a long story, and you know, it is all in the book You Are Clairvoyant, how I got into this field. But I guess what I'm really passionate about sharing is that everybody is naturally intuitive and clairvoyant. Everybody's got some natural ability. Who here feels that you are naturally intuitive already? Yeah, fantastic. It's a great way to live, isn't it, when you listen to your intuition? Do you think of yourself as clairvoyant as well? Yes, no, maybe?
What's the difference between?
Well, and this is the thing, there seems to be kind of like this next big leap to this idea of being clairvoyant. Largely for me, the difference is with clairvoyance is I'm getting information for and about other people, and I get a lot of vision. So when I'm doing a reading with someone, I can see their past lives like a movie running in my head. I can see their angels and guides around them. I can see their chakras and their energy field. But 22 years ago, it was not like that. 22 years ago, I did not think of myself as that kind of person. I left the fashion industry, which I was very unhappy in, and had chronic fatigue and depression and felt very lost. And I studied homeopathy for 4 years. So I thought I was going to be a homeopath. Hi, welcome, take a seat. And chakra balancing was kind of like a hobby that I learned at a sort of a weekly meditation group that I went to. And I used to think, oh, this chakra balancing stuff, you know, it's fun, it's nice, it's a little bit fluffy. I'm going to be a homeopath. That's my, you know, mission in life now. But when I opened my practice, everybody wanted the chakra balancing and nobody wanted the homeopathy. And I thought, well, that's great, universe, thanks. You know, I've just spent 4 years studying and spent a fortune on a diploma. But while I was doing the chakra balancing for the clients that were coming for that, that's when I started to receive more information. So I went from just having that basic intuition that I listen to in my everyday life, you know, you're going to find a parking spot over there, or ring Watkins bookstore, they're going to be a great store. You know, there's little messages and senses of knowing that I get every day. The clairvoyancy came on as I was working with people and doing the energy work. So I started seeing angels and spirit guides. I started getting messages for people. And I thought I was going a bit nuts. If you can imagine what that's like, being in a room by yourself with a client who's just come for a basic treatment and you start getting all this other information for them. Is it real? Are they going to think you're you know, a mad woman coming out with all this info? But I thought, well, who is this information meant for if not for them? I've got to tell them. And when they responded positively and said, wow, that actually means something to me, that encouraged me to keep going. I didn't have a teacher or a mentor or anyone to go and check in with and say, am I doing the right thing? I just kind of followed my gut feel. And every time something new would happen, a voice would tell me, which I now understand is my angels and guides, this is what this is, tell them about it, do this, do that, and I'd be given very clear instructions. But this took years to evolve. Now in Australia I run 5-day residential courses teaching people how to be clairvoyant healers, and within 5 days the students are seeing past lives, communicating with angels and guides, seeing chakras and feeling energy. So over the years I've learned how to communicate this to people and share it with them so that they can, you know, get on board rapidly. And the energy's moving much faster now, I think you'd all agree, than it was 20 odd years ago. So developing your intuition and clairvoyance, I really, really passionately believe that it's something everybody can do. Because I started to learn it at the age of 30. I had no idea what I was doing. 22 years later, I've written 4 books about it and 2 sets of oracle cards. And I'm roaming the world, you know, talking to anybody who will listen, basically, and having a great time. It's like my dream life. But everywhere I go, whether it's a half-day workshop or a 5-day residential, people just get it. You know, that the ability is there, and it comes to them with the right kind of structure, the right kind of instruction. And I keep my books and my workshops very simple, so that people can understand it and practice it and do it. So the only difference between me, who's been doing this for 22 years, and any of you, is that I've just been doing it for longer, and I do it every day, and I practice, and I do my little channel setup exercises and things like that as a regular practice. And I really would like to answer your questions too, so thank you for your questions now, or when I finish speaking in about 10 minutes time. So if you've got any questions, feel free to fire them at me. One of the biggest things that I find in my life through doing this work has been the connection that has developed with angels and spirit guides. And again, if you would have asked me 22, 23 years ago, have you got angels and spirit guides with you? Do you believe in them? Can you see them? I would have just shrugged my shoulders. Not a clue. And again, it took me a few years to get used to the idea that I've actually got these non-physical beings helping me. And then I started seeing angels and guides around other people, around my clients. I started getting messages from them for my clients, for my friends. When I go to the supermarket or the cafe, I kind of switch it off a bit. I'm not always like tuned in up to the 100% level. But when I want to, like even just standing here now, I could look at you guys and see your angels and guides around you, look at your chakras and your channel, see what's going on with you energetically. But all I can see is what your higher self wants to show me. So I can't spy on you or, look into your secrets. I wouldn't want to, but I can't anyway. I have known readers and healers who've had that faculty, and they said it nearly drove them insane. Being able to read everyone's thoughts and see what was going on around them. Literally, one woman really literally lost her mind over it. So, that's not a place I want to go. The reason that all of this came to me, I don't know why the universe chose me or why this started happening through me. I don't know. I never sought it. I never looked for it. I literally thought I was going to be a homeopath, and was offering the chakra balances as a sideline. I had been lucky enough to escape the fashion industry almost alive, with my health in a terrible state at the age of 29. And so for me, this has been this huge journey of completely revolutionising my life. And now I just live on this beautiful stream of energy. This is how I feel all the time. Go to London, go to Prague, go to the United States, go back to Australia, do this, do that, write this book, write a set of oracle cards. I'm listening to my guidance all the time, for the smallest things to the biggest things. Who is it in this monkey mind crazy world? And don't get me wrong, I haven't been able to do this as kind of like a full-time thing until about 10 years ago. For the first 10 years of this work, I had to do part-time jobs and all sorts of other odds and bits just, to pay my rent. Because being a creative or intuitive person doesn't necessarily generate a lot of income at first. But if that's your passion, you've got to do it. You've got to do it. I was doing a reading with a man here yesterday, a London local, and all his life he's been a very successful businessman, but deep down he's a musician and artist. And just the sadness that was in his system, and his angels and guides just came and talked to him and said, you have got to get back to your music, you've got to get back to your art. It's not going to go away. It may not be a way to earn a 6-figure salary, but you've got to find time for it in your life. So if you want to be a writer or an intuitive or a healer or an artist or anything like that, you've got to find time for it in your life, even if it's not a full-time career. I absolutely love what I do, and I feel like one of the luckiest people in the world, but it's still a job. It's still work. I love writing books. It's a dream to be published. Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be published. But, you've got to persevere with it, stick with it, do it, and believe in it. Really stand up here for hours and hours and talk about myself, angels and guides, intuition, the journey that I've been on or whatever, but I'd like to share one little exercise with you, something actually practical that you can do every day, if you like, after you leave here, that will help you develop your intuitive connection. Would you like to try that? And as I said earlier, I'm not sure if all of you heard it, Sure, we're in a bookstore, it's about selling books, but I love channeling a message for you from one of your angels or guides. So that's what I'll do for you if you decide to get some of my cards or something. And if you want to get something for a friend or a family member, you just tell me their name and a little bit about them, and I'll get a message and an angel or a guide for one of them. So I just made a message for Christina here, and she's got an angel named Alessandra, and Alessandra wrote a message for her. So this is what I do. I just love being a mouthpiece and a hand for the universe. Has anyone got any questions at this point? Channel, quite simply put, is a column of energy and light that connects you to your divine guidance and to the core of Mother Earth. So any of you familiar with this idea of having a channel? You're familiar with the idea of channeling, so that's the activity, and the channel is kind of like the antenna that connects you to it all. If you have a really strong, healthy channel, you will raise your vibration, you'll be more and more connected to your divine guidance, but it has to be grounded as well. We have to connect it to the core of Mother Earth, so to speak. Otherwise, you'll be off with the fairies. And then life gets difficult, you get indecisive, you can have sleep problems, you can be very scatty. I was very scattered for the first few years of doing this work because I didn't understand the grounding part and I didn't pay enough attention to that. But eventually my angels and guides put me on track and said, hey, you've got to do this. Also, if your channel is strong and the energy's flowing from the universe and from the core of Mother Earth, it's feeding into your chakras and it's keeping your chakras healthy and strong too. Do you all know what chakras are? Fantastic. Very savvy audience. That's fantastic. Everybody has also got their own personal group of angels and spirit guides. I could talk to you for hours about angels and spirit guides, but ultimately we were all given a group of angels and guides before we were born. As far as they've ever told me, your angels are with you for the whole of your life. Your spirit guides sometimes come and go. You might have a spirit guide to help you with puberty or with parenting or with university or whatever, and when that phase of your life is over, that guide might leave and another guide might come in. And they've also told me that most spirit guides have been human beings at least once before as well, so they know what it's like to be human. But essentially they just live in non-physical dimensions and they're here with you all the time to help you. It's not their job to make your mind up for you or to make things happen in your life. They don't make decisions for you unless you're going to step under a train, and it's not your time to die. They'll go, oh, step back. And I've literally had my life saved a few times, I think, some of the crazy things I do with all the travels that I do. But on the whole, you need to just really commit to something, even if you're not sure how you're going to achieve it. Commit to it and then say, angels and guides, please help me achieve this thing that I'm dreaming of or that I'm willing to commit to, even though I don't know how I'm going to make it happen. Please help me. And that's when they can really step in. They feel that energy of commitment. That's really significant. But let's do this channel setup exercise. It only takes a couple of minutes, and then hopefully you'll remember it. And if you want to, it's in You Are Clairvoyant. It's in the Clairvoyant Oracle cards. And you can do it for a couple of minutes each day, and you will become more intuitive, more clairvoyant. So just close your eyes and let the golden white light stream down through the solar system, through the sky, and shine right down onto the top of your head, onto your crown chakra. And you might even feel a warm or a pulsing sensation on the top of your head right now. And if you don't worry about it. Don't struggle to make anything happen. Then let the golden white light continue down through your head, through your brow chakra, your throat chakra, your heart chakra, your solar plexus chakra, coming down through your navel chakra and then right down to your base chakra at the base of your spine. And just feel the energy flowing through the core of your body, through your central channel. And then from your base chakra, the golden white light goes out to both of your hips and starts to flow down through your legs, through your knees, through your lower legs, and right down through your ankles and to the soles of your feet. And notice if there's a difference between your left side and your right side. Does one leg feel like the energy's flowing and the other not? Maybe they're even. We're not looking for problems or trying to fix anything, just observing. And then the golden white light flows out of your feet, down through the floor, forming into one beam again, all the way down to the centre of Mother Earth. And this is really key. Imagine you're like a tree putting down beautiful, big, strong roots. Feel that anchoring into Mother Earth. And now from the core of Mother Earth comes a rich red energy and light, flowing up through all those layers of rock and soil, up through the floor to the soles of your feet. And then it continues up through your legs and eventually into your hips and merging again at your base chakra. And from your base chakra, of course, the red energy and light continues up through the central channel now, up through the 7 main chakras, coming up through the core of your body, your throat, your head, and to the top of your head to your crown chakra. And then let this red energy and light continue up out through the top of your head, all the way to the centre of the cosmos. The golden white light is still flowing down and the red energy and light is still flowing up. There's some empty seats here, ma'am, if you want to come and sit down the front. Okay, you want to get up the back. Picture the two. Picture them spiralling around each other like a barber's pole, with the white and the red spiralling around each other. The white spiralling down and the red spiralling up. And now ask your angels and guides to surround you in a beautiful cocoon of energy and light. Whatever colour comes through to you is fine. And then just take a nice deep breath, wriggle your fingers and toes, and open your eyes. People nodding. It's that simple. If you just did that for a couple of minutes each day, that's an amazing start. There's a more complex version of it in the books, with the third eye opening and an inner screen activation and things like that. But we've only got 15-20 minutes here tonight, unfortunately. So I gave you the quick start version. But that simple connection to the cosmos and to Mother Earth will strengthen your channel and your chakras. Just about numbers and how I see those in relation to angels and guides communicating with us, or the universe communicating with us through numbers. Is that what you meant?
Yeah,
definitely.
I've seen number 12 like 16 times in like the last 2
Yeah.
days.
Every number has a vibration, so you can think of them as kind of like a code or a signal or a semaphore, and your angels and guides will use certain numbers to say, hi, we're thinking of you, yes, we've heard you, yes, we're responding, or whatever. And I'll often find that if I've got an issue or a problem or a question and I'm wondering whether I'm going to get a response or an answer, and then I'll see 22 or 1111 or 2211, or the kind of numbers they use to communicate with me are often those double ones. So yeah, they use them as a way of saying, yep, we've heard you, we're reaching out to you. Yeah. As to what each actual number means, there's debate about that, because different authors will say different things, but you just listen to what it means to you. That's the key thing. Yeah, good question. Very nice. Anyone else got a question? Yes,
How do you
Christina.
differentiate between your own thoughts and what you're getting from the angels?
That takes quite a bit of practice. And the question was, how do you differentiate between your own thoughts and the messages or the guidance coming through from the angels and guides? For me, it's kind of like I feel very relaxed when the information is coming through from the angels and guides. There's not this feeling of having that effort of thinking. And I just kind of step out of the way. But that took a bit of practice at first, because, as I said, I kind of thought, where's this information coming from? Who is this thinking this? Who is this saying it to me? So I was having this thing about identity, who, what. But think of it as the difference between effort and no effort. Like if you had to write a resume for a new job, you'd be thinking, well, yes, for the last 3 years I worked here, and before that I worked there, and yes, and you'd be, there's like an effort involved where you're having to think from your conscious mind. When you're getting information from the universe, it just kind of flows through, and there's not that same feeling of effort. But the bottom line is you have to be honest with yourself. And that's why, for example, I created sets of oracle cards, because it helps to have that physical interface where you can ask a question or think of a problem, and then you pull a card, and that's the message from the universe. And so that gives you that physical interface, that tool to work with, rather than relying on, oh, did I really just think that, or is that wishful thinking, or was that really a message? But it takes practice. But there's kind of like an effortless, natural feeling to it. But you've still got to be honest with yourself at the end and think, was that my wishful thinking, or am I really listening? And after a while, you learn to differentiate. But yeah, very good question. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, they visit me in all states, and sometimes the dream state is even more real and vivid than the waking state. I met one of my angels, his name is Adriano, and he helped me write one of my books. in a dream, and it was so vivid and so real, and I could feel him touching me, and I could, when he was talking to me, it was almost like I could hear the warmth of his breath. He was like luminous. So that was amazing. Sometimes I see them with my eyes open, sometimes it's in my inner screen, and I've just got so used to it now. I mean, the room is packed. They're just everywhere.
If you've met one of them,
Okay, so the question is, if I get a download of information and I'm not quite ready for it, I didn't quite grasp it, can I go back and get them to repeat it? Not always. And I used to get like woken up at 3, 4 in the morning, for example, with this kind of ringing in my ear, and I'd say to them, oh really, you know, like it's 3 o'clock in the morning, it's winter, I don't want to start having to write things down or whatever, can you please just get back to me at 7 a.m? And the ringing wouldn't go away, so in the end I'd just get up and write down what they were going to say, and then I'd go back to bed. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole different language, so we're translating from different dimensions, different frequencies. I try to respond to it whenever it comes through. But I've learned to kind of work with the universe over the years where and this is one of the reasons why the books and why the courses and so on, to say we can learn to work with the universe so we're not just kind of subject to it. So for example, when I'm reading a past life and they're showing me all the events of someone's past life, I can say to them, slow down, can you go back to the beginning, can you show me in a chronological order, can you make it more logical please? And over the years it just got smoother and easier. So does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of complex and simple at the same time, but you got to respond to it as much as you can, but sometimes you can't get it back the second time around. I'm constantly inviting them and talking to them and thanking them for things and asking them to show themselves to me. There's an exercise in You Are Clairvoyant and also in the clairvoyant cards about how to connect with your angels and guides. I do that repeatedly, still regularly after all these years, and it's just become a natural part of my life. So I'm always letting them know that I want more contact with them and that they're welcome in my life. So yeah, just keep on plugging away. Don't give up. Yes?
Yeah, I'd like the third eye.
The third eye. So is there a connection between seeing your angels and guides and the activation of the third eye?
Does the pineal gland need to be activated to see all this?
I can't comment about the pineal gland because I don't, you know, I'm not a doctor or an anatomist or whatever. For me, it's the third eye, and the more active and clear and strong your third eye and your brow chakra is, the easier it's going to be to see them. Just bottom line. Yeah. Yeah, so definitely if you're doing that exercise we just did, if you do the more complex versions from the books or my courses, the stronger you get that, the clearer you get, the more likely you're going to have good clear vision. Yeah, and it's not like seeing a physical person like I'm looking at you and you're looking at me. It's not really that kind of looking. It's more like, you know, sometimes when you watch a movie, the Harry Potter type thing, and there's those misty, translucent beings there. Or when you are reading a book and you're picturing what the character looks like in your mind and you can see the character. There's Mr. Darcy riding over the green hills on his big black horse and you can picture it. It's that kind of scene. Yeah. So we have to develop actually new neural pathways. We're learning a new language here. We're going beyond the senses that we're accustomed to using. So yeah, it's very cool. And when I hear them, I can be having a conversation with you and listening to them at the same time. I don't know how I do that, but it just happens. So I can be having 2 conversations at the same time, which is what happens a lot during the readings. So yeah.
Do you actually think this is something you can acquire, or because a lot of people who have this from a very young age?
No, but this is my whole point. This lady's asking, is this something that you can learn? Absolutely. Absolutely. I never thought of myself as clairvoyant or even intuitive. I never pursued this. I didn't know I could do this. And so for over 15 years I've been teaching it. I tend to think of it more as sharing it, really, because I certainly didn't invent it. I've been sharing it with people all around the world for 15 years and everybody's got the ability. And I liken it to an artistic skill. Like some people will naturally have more of a flair for it than others. You know, if we all went to oil painting class tomorrow, some people would really feel comfortable with the oil painting and other people might struggle with it a bit in the beginning. But it's like any new skill. If you persevere with it, you'll develop it and you'll get better at it. Definitely. So I've never come across anybody in all the workshops and everything I've given who can't do something. So yeah, it's quite amazing. It's an ability that's waiting there to wake up. Yeah. Yeah, yes.
Do you hold the any workshops?
At the Mind Body Spirit Festival at Alexandra Palace, I've got a 45-minute seminar on the Saturday, which I believe you have to pay £7 to attend. And we'll just be there, but that's the only official thing that I've got in London. So, yeah. I've been doing a lot in the US and a lot in Australia, but this is sort of our first tentative steps into the UK. We didn't know how we'd be received here, and we're being received really well, so we'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, but come to Alexandra Palace if you can, and I did have a couple of free tickets, so I might slip you one if you like.
When is it on?
This weekend, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, but my seminar is on Saturday in the afternoon, and I can't actually remember what time. I'm embarrassed to say exactly, but yeah, Saturday afternoon I've got a seminar on there. Any other questions, folks? How are we doing around the corner there? So what are some processes to put the over-analysis to one side and make it easier to communicate with your divine guidance? With the what?
Put the nonsense.
Put the nonsense to one side. Hey, we need our rational minds and our egos for some things, but yeah, they definitely run our lives too much most of the time. That channel setup exercise is actually incredibly effective for all of those things too. And in You Are Clairvoyant and the Clairvoyant cards, there's an exercise called the heart-mind balance, which is incredibly powerful, and it uses this figure eight of energy and light that gets the brow chakra, throat chakra and heart chakra working in harmony with one another. So you don't have this tug of war between the head and the heart, and you don't have the dominance of the head. And you also have more authentic self-expression. So yeah, that's a really powerful one. So you could ask your angels and guides to give you a heart-mind balance. Yeah, and that would really help. How am I doing for time? Should I be finishing? Marbles for hours and hours. But no, it's just lovely connecting with you all, and I love your questions. But I'll be here. Rose is going to speak next, and then I'm happy to sign books, write messages, answer your questions for as long as they'll tolerate us here in the store. And then if you do get a chance to come to Alexandra Palace Friday, Saturday or Sunday, we'll be there. Our stand is called Angels, Dreams and Intuition. It's stand number 152. Rose and I, both our talks are on Saturday afternoon, but you do have to book tickets for them or just come and chat to us at the stand and come and chat to us here. And thank you so much to Watkins Bookstore for hosting us too. We're really, really thrilled. So thanks everyone. Unfortunately, that's all the time I've got, but thank you so much for your time. Okay. Namaste.